Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 291. My name is Tom.
And my name's Ant.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down, you can find an Amazon banner. If you click through that Amazon banner, you will go to amazon.co.uk and you can do all your spending as you usually would, all your shopping. We're past the kind of New Year blues now. Everyone's got a bit more money. Things are starting to open up again, but you might still want to do all your shopping online anyway. If you do it through Amazon, we get 5% of your total basket spend, but you've got to go through our banner first to do that. Doesn't change anything for you. You don't spend any more. We just get a little bit of their profits, and that goes towards our hosting for the website.
Yeah, and if you want to support us on a more regular basis, if you don't do any shopping on Amazon at all, you can, near that Amazon banner is our Patreon banner, where you can click that. You can donate as little as $1 a month. I mean, that's all we ask for. If you're going to do it, that's all we ask for. You can choose to donate more if you want. And that's on a more regular basis. That's monthly, so it kind of helps us out a bit more because it's a bit more of a regular income. For that, you will get extra content. You can get the main episode without this intro. You get after the podcasts, which are exclusive to our Patreon feed. You also get spoiler casts, which they tend to go out as we record them, so the day we record them or very soon after. Whereas on the main feed, it might be a couple of months before you listen to those spoiler casts. But patrons get them early. You get a RSS feed for your audio content as well, which you can put in your podcast app, and all of those podcasts get delivered automatically to your podcast feed. We also occasionally, not so much while we've been in lockdown, record gaming content or the likes of that sort of stuff. 5 Clicks to Christ. There's a video element to the podcast, like we record on Zoom at the minute. That goes out on Patreon as well. The gaming content, you'll get that early if you're a Patreon customer before it goes up on our YouTube channel. Just the general sort of extra content everyone gives out on Patreon, sorry.
Indeed, and you can get in touch with us, of course, on Twitter at ABHpod or on facebook.com/ABHpod. You can also watch us on youtube.com/ABHpodcast.
You can email us abhpod@gmail.com as well if you're not into all the social media stuff.
Indeed. On this episode, we have passed a year since the first lockdown. So we kind of look back on what we could have told ourselves now that we would never have believed 12 months ago. We're looking at the kind of things of lockdown is easing. So how we're feeling about that and what we might be putting in place. There's also going to be, if you're listening to this on the main feed, a little bit of audience participation. We'd like to hear from you. There's a couple of questions we pose right at the end of the podcast, so do keep listening right through to the end and let us know how you're planning on integrating back into society, because we're in need of a little bit of encouragement, I think.
Enjoy. Hit record and see where it takes us.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. Yeah, it's still in lockdown. After a year, we passed the year anniversary.
That's mad.
Coronavirus lockdown, didn't we?
A whole year. Like, we knew it had been almost a year since the coronavirus outbreak started making us go, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was February, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, when it started getting over here and people were dying and we were like,
This isn't just something over there anymore, it's something over here.
Yeah, and then, like, as you say, it's been a year since Boris has asked us to remain in our homes and not go to work. And it's been a year.
Before he started telling us not to, he asked politely, I'm not asking us not to. I'm going to leave the onus on the bands and the theatres and the comedians. Yes. Whether to put their show on and put people at risk, but I'm not going to tell them to stop.
Yeah,
not yet.
Yeah, which made us all go, just stop everything. Just tell us.
Yeah, tell us what to do. We're sheep.
Yeah, tell us what to do and we'll do it. Because I know, like, one of the first episodes we did after the lockdown started, I was saying, and because there was that because people were still going on holiday. At this point, people were still going abroad. Mm-hmm. We locked down, but go abroad if you must. Yeah. Because economy and. But yeah, it was about a year must have been a year ago now, that I was saying about that video of the woman in Spain where the hotel was like,
oh, that's right,
do not swim in the pool, do not do this, stay in your apartments. And she decided fuck it, and went in the pool, and then just got dragged out and then beaten up by like the security and stuff, and everyone was cheering. Whereas over here, the police were going, "Ooh, go home,
do that.
Go home." Yes. Yeah, because there was no fines, there was no arrests, it wasn't illegal, it was just, can you go home, please? Or where do you live? And do you two live together? Oh, okay then. It's just sort of face value, because we're trustworthy. Yeah. We're trustworthy people.
Yeah. I think it was also, it must be 53 weeks now until you and I were on after the podcast that we were doing in between bits, because we were suddenly like, oh, we're at home. We can do more content. That didn't continue, but but it was I remember halfway through one, I got a message from my boss being like, "Oh, we're going to have a phone call in 5 minutes. Are you around?"
Yeah,
and I said to you, I was like, "Oh, what if I'm going to be put on furlough for a couple of weeks?"
Yeah.
And I was, and it turned into 8 months, and then I lost my job.
Which we can laugh about now, because you're in a much better position now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just, I don't know, financially and stuff like that. That's your business, but you're in a much better position in terms of there's not so much stress, and you can decide to, yes, I'm going to take that job even though it's going to stress me out, or no, I think I'm a bit overworked at the minute, so I'm going to have to refuse that one. Instead of like, Tom, I know you've got all this stuff to do, but can you do this one as well? Deadline's tomorrow. You can actually choose to refuse work and stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm slowly getting back to the kind of levels of income that I was on anyway now, and it's only been 3 months. So,
and I know, like the last 2 weeks you've been working, or last week at least, I know, probably a week before, you've been working like constantly. Like you have been working a lot.
I've been doing full days. I've been doing 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
Which hasn't happened in over a year, because I was told to work from home, and I was doing roughly 9 to 5 then. Yeah,
9 to 5, or 8 till 4, or half 9 till half, whenever you want. Like as long as you get in your 8 hours. But
then being put on furlough and being told you cannot do any work whatsoever, I stopped doing work. And then kind of getting set up as a freelancer. It's been slow going, and there have been days where I've had nothing to do, and it just feels like I should be doing something. Yeah. I've had 6 articles to write in 4 weeks, which is quite a heavy. And that's only when you talk about word count, we're talking like 8,000 to 10,000 words. In 4 weeks, but that's not just that. It's organising the interviews, it's getting them done, it's then making sense of all those notes and kind of and
it's doing the research, so you actually ask relevant questions in the interview as well. You find out about products, you find out about the person. Like it's there's a huge amount. So when you're sort of like saying this is my rate, you're not saying this is my rate. So they go, what? How much per word? And you're like, no. Yeah.
That's
because there's everything else as well. But it's the good thing about the position you're in now is, like you say, you're almost at the point you were financially now.
Yeah.
But it seems like your workload's a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Like you're doing more work for the money. But the more you sort of more experience and the more people start to know your name, you can start putting your rates up. So less work, more money. Like it
exactly.
You can balance it out. But obviously, because you're still at the start now, you're sort of working yourself to the bone just to get your name out there.
But even so, like I've managed to take. I had a day where I didn't do much last week because I just was like, I can't do any more today. I'm not doing it. But what I did do on that day was set up interviews instead. I just sat on emails all day while watching The Witcher. I watched almost the entire series of The Witcher again.
But that's the good thing. I'm all written out. I'm just going to relax and just email people today.
I've had my first couple of podcasts to edit as well,
Oh, nice.
which is cool. So I'm in that world, and actually, like I was talking to a PR the other day, who I've known for a few years, and she mentioned podcasting, and I was like, yeah, everyone's got them now, and I'm doing them for this company. And she was like, well, I've been trying to get certain companies that I work with to do podcasts, but they're a little bit like, the engineering industry is a little bit old fashioned, even though
ironically,
it's ridiculous, isn't it? She's like, I've been trying to encourage a couple of people to do them, but now I know someone who produces and edits, then maybe it will be easier to sell them on it.
That's good. It's like, yeah, this is how you do it, but I've got a contact who can produce and edit. And you know what? Send them over proof of concept, send them over like these two podcasts that you've got. Take a couple of clips and send it over as a proof of concept.
I've got all the files, so I can do what I want with them, really.
Yeah.
So but it's all good. There was one, the most recent one has been. It took me 4 hours to edit a 21-minute episode.
Ooh.
Because the guy that they were interviewing just ummed and ahed and coughed his way through.
Ummed and ahed and then came back like this so you couldn't hear him, and then came back right up on the mic.
It was. I think it's less to do with the mic and more to do with audio dropout on whatever they were using, whether it was Teams or whatever. There were big times where and it all compresses so you can't hear it, and it's just.
I had that one video I edited a few years ago. The video podcast I edited, it was set up like this. It was Zoom side by side,
right?
But he wanted it so it would flick.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
So I managed to do that, and because there was one point in the episode where the guest was speaking, but her video froze,
right,
for like a good 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah,
but the host had some like really good reactions to what they were saying.
So you flicked
back.
I
flicked back to him to get his reaction until her video picked. Like, it's really cool because when you do it, you're like, that looks really good. Because it's when you're editing video podcasts and things like that, it's important not just to highlight the person speaking, but actually the reactions as well. And I think that's why I've now gone for side by side on our Zoom videos, is because like when I'm talking and you're reacting, and when we were doing it and like the big single shot of the person talking and you see the one person reacting, you're like, that's more interesting than what I'm doing at the minute.
But Zoom
picks up on the audio, to highlight the speaker. So, but it's, I don't know, but it's good. But have you had to turn down any work yet?
No.
You're too scared to at the minute.
Yeah. There's something I got emailed the other day via LinkedIn from someone who's setting up like a newsletter or something, a weekly newsletter, and he's got like 4 or 5 writers on it. And he's like, my background is in tech, so I need someone to come in as like an overseer for the content side of things. And he's like, basically, you'll be chief editor.
Oh, nice.
And maybe even co-founder. And I'm like, this is you completely out of the blue. I don't know who you are. It just sounds a little bit too good to be true. So I've sent an email back being like, what kind of...
Yeah, like, is this a startup?
Yeah, I think... Well, that's
just saying you're a co-founder of a startup. It's kind of like, mate, what's your business plan? Because I don't want to be a name as in like a founder.
No.
If you're doing some dodgy shit and go under. I don't want to be like, I don't want my name there.
No, not at all. And also I was like, if we're looking at freelance chief editor, what's the time commitment on that? Do you need me 1 day a week? Do you need me more than that? But I haven't heard anything back. So I'm starting to think maybe that was like a fishing exercise. So,
yeah.
But that's the weirdest thing I've had so far. But,
I've seen a lot of weird stuff on LinkedIn recently. Like, some people are trying to take it sort of clickbaity Facebook, because there was one. It's like, double click on this image to see this amazing thing, and all it does is it likes the post, So it puts it in front of more people, and it's like, that's really Facebook, mate.
Yeah,
what are you doing on LinkedIn with that
LinkedIn
shit?
has started, even since I've started using it properly in 5 years, like it's gone from a really quite professional place to a much more social media-y kind of feel. Which is why I feel okay kind of posting all my stuff on there. Like
But that's the whole point, because it's your work. Like, here are examples of my work. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like, double click on this to expand your network. It's like, no.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a bit of a. I don't know whether I don't know whether that's worth it on that platform though as well.
No.
Like, to me, it doesn't feel like it would be worth doing that kind of thing, because it's supposed to be for growing your own network, and because what I've found is, like, most of my work has come through people seeing what I'm posting on LinkedIn. So for me, I don't even think I need a website, because my audience, my potential customers and clients are all on my network anyway.
Of course, yeah. And that's the thing, I've started looking at my LinkedIn now, obviously, because I've changed industry now. So I'm looking at removing all the stuff from when I worked in the hospital, removing the bits from work when I worked in the factory, and just having the IT sort of side of things on there now, because that's what it's for. Like, your network on LinkedIn should be in the same industry as you. That's why we're okay on there, because I'm in IT, you're sort of a tech writer, so it kind of works, you know. You know, it's a bit like, it's. I still don't quite get it.
No, I know it's a funny one to kind of traverse, really, because there is that. It's a professional space, but it's also a social media platform, so you're supposed to act professionally on there, but there are also people who really don't, you know. I don't know, it's a weird one.
It's definitely interesting,
and the other one that I've had recently, I got a message from a PR who was like, oh, the managing director of this company, who I know from working in the industry for a while, has invited you to a press briefing down in Southampton in April. And I'm like, this was a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, are we even allowed to do that? But obviously, I think we must be. But
12th of April. So tomorrow starts where you can, the rule of 6, isn't it?
Yeah,
rule of 6 or 2 households.
Yeah.
So it's like the rule of 6, with as many different households as long as it's only 6 people. 2 households, as many people as you want, as long as they're only from 2 households.
Yeah.
So now we can actually meet up with my brother and his wife and their kids.
Yes.
Because there will be 7 of us. Ooh. But we can meet up now because it's only 2 households. So that's tomorrow, but only in outdoor spaces, isn't it? And back gardens.
I believe so, yeah.
Back gardens and outdoor spaces. April 12th is when pub gardens open. And is it groups of up to 20 people?
Right, maybe that's the kind of rule they're going for then. Hold on, here we are. I'm just trying to go through the BBC website at the moment.
It is well structured, but it can be a bit confusing, because I thought rule of 6... No, I thought 2 households, it was still rule of 6 with 2 households, but actually it's any number of people. And those in your social bubble. So although my mother-in-law is from a different household, she's in our bubble, so in theory she could meet up with my brother and his wife as well. Yeah. Like, if we were going to go and do something in the park, we could take Liz's mum with us for a day out with them, because she absolutely adores their kids as well. So, like, it's... we could do that in theory. Yeah. But it's
the other thing is, stay-at-home rule is ending, although the government's urging people to stay local as much as possible.
When's that? That's not tomorrow. That's
29th.
Oh, that's tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so we could, in theory, go to the beach.
Holidays away from home are still not allowed. So away from home, does that mean...
So I couldn't go to the Peaks, or I couldn't go to Devon,
I assume
or
so,
Cornwall,
yeah. But whether or not Hastings is okay, I'm not sure.
No, because that's a different county.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't know. Outdoor sports facility will reopen, including golf courses, tennis and basketball courts, and outdoor swimming areas, which my mum's, my stepdad, I suppose, is going out playing golf on Tuesday. Like, he's been itching to go and play golf for months now. And it's going to be like 23 degrees on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's so annoying. So we did have a plan. Like, we've got a plan. We're going to meet up. Like, we were going to meet up, weren't we, with Corky and go sit in his garden or whatever. That's the sort of thing we were going to sort out. My car broke down yesterday.
Yeah, so it's probably not going to happen, is it?
Let's stop that, hasn't it?
I'm thinking we message him and say we're going to have to do it over Zoom again.
I love it. It's like, oh, good, I can drive and meet up with people. And my car's like, nah. Like, I was supposed to be meeting an ex-colleague for a coffee just today, because that's still okay. Like, you can go for a walk with one other person.
Yeah.
So we were going to do that with a coffee, a bit of exercise and a chat, which I could have done this whole time.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about it, to be honest. But yeah, so I was going to do that today, after podcasting. And my car's like, nah. We're going to meet up on Tuesday. Nah. Can't do it now. But hey, yeah. So holidays away from home are still not allowed. Like, do you know? I love the fact that they've said international travel is illegal, like for holiday.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That they've done that now.
Well, it's like
you can go on holiday abroad if you want,
but you'll get put in jail.
Like, this is the thing. It's like, but flights are still travelling. It's like, yeah, that's for work.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And you could, in theory, go on holiday, but when you come back, you're going to be in shit. But yeah, we were supposed.
You know, there's going to be people taking that. You know, there's going to be people taking that risk, though, don't you?
Yeah, because
they can't not have a holiday. It's such a weird mindset to me. Like, I don't know whether it's because, like, you know, we've all got interests that we kind of, you know, indulge in. That I guess some people don't have hobbies and therefore holiday. I mean, I know that, like, my mum has been like desperate to go on holiday. Like, she's been talking about, like, oh, once it's all over, we'll get a big house somewhere in the country and we'll rent that out and everyone can go together. And it's like, I'm not that bothered. Like, yeah, it's a lovely idea, but you know, they've been taking like little mini breaks around the country every few months, even you know, when they've been allowed. But I just, to me, I'm like, why would you take the risk of going somewhere where other people have stayed recently? Like, I don't get that.
This is what boggles my mind as well about people that are like, yeah, as soon as lockdown ends, we're all going to go out on the lash. I'm like, no. That's still a risk, mate. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
As soon as lockdown ends, I'm having people round in my garden.
Yes.
You know, and we'll have a barbecue and we'll have some beers. But, like, as well, like here, you know, I've got like a side access.
Yes.
Like, people don't even have to come in my house.
Yeah.
You know, it's set up for COVID. Like, I've got a bar out there as well, so I can stick all the booze out there.
This is it.
You know.
And this is the thing, like, with the meeting up with my colleague tomorrow, meeting up with, like, you guys on Tuesday. Like, that's 3 people. And I'm like, that's cool. But then I think Liz is like, oh yeah, and we've arranged to meet your brother and like Dave and Lucy and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, can we slow down a bit? Like, I know we are allowed to. And she's like, but it's still social distance. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but
yeah, it's like, the thing is, your mindset's changed over this last year, hasn't it? You know, all of them. Well, I would say.
Should have done.
People's mind, a lot of people's mindsets probably have changed.
Yes. There's a good chance. There's a chance. There's a slim chance. Yeah.
Okay, just our mindsets have changed.
Yes, our mindsets specifically, and perhaps others.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've always been a relatively social person anyway. I do like meeting people and going for a drink and you know, all that, and we like going to gigs and oh
god,
and things.
The amount of gigs that have been cancelled, mate.
I mean, Slam Dunk has been put back this year, and apparently it's going ahead in September. But I don't know, man. Like,
cold.
Yeah,
and wet. Yeah, like theatre and gigs.
Oh, of course, yeah, because theatre is a big thing for you as well,
Mate,
isn't it?
that's opening April 12th. No,
April
it's not
12th
12th.
is shops
be.
are allowed to open with close contact services, including hairdressers and beauty salons. Restaurants and pubs can serve food and alcohol to outdoors customers.
Yes, that's it.
Gyms and spas reopen, as can zoos, theme parks, libraries, and community centres.
Theme park, actually, we like to go to Chessington like once or twice a year, actually.
So that's April 12th.
Yeah.
Provisionally.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Members of the same household can take a holiday in England in self-contained accommodation.
Yeah. Which means, so like if you could in theory go to like Butlins or Pontins, one of these parks, but you can't go
in the chalet.
You can't go into the entertainment venues. Like you just stay in your chalet.
Yeah, it would be better to go somewhere in a kind of B&B and then go cycling or trekking or something. And then weddings with 15 people can take place.
Yeah, so we've got some friends who were supposed to have been married by now.
Yeah, me too.
Coming up. That's been pushed back. And I think what they're doing now is they've pushed it back. Yeah, because they could have done it again more recently. So they had a big one planned, and then they postponed it to be just like close family and stuff. But then they cancelled that because they're like, no, we want our friends there. So we're just going to put it off until we can have a proper wedding, which that is making that decision, because they're very sociable people. They've got lots of friends and they like to go out and have fun and stuff. And it's like, it doesn't make sense for them to do it without all their family and friends there. Yeah.
No, it's the same here. I've got a friend who, or an ex-colleague who was getting married last summer. Obviously, they kept pushing it back, but I think they've gone ahead and they'll do it in April by the sounds of it. And he was just like, I'm really sorry that we're not going to be inviting you, but we've been waiting for a year. And I'm like, mate, like we barely know each other anyway.
Yeah,
in real terms, like
yeah.
It's your family. Fucking yeah. I know it was like a kind of generic message to everyone, but
yeah. You're like, mate, don't fucking worry about it.
You've waited a year to get married, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much better anytime soon. So fucking do it and have your closest around.
Yeah, that's it. I think this couple, that I think they made the decision to cancel it until. I can't remember when it was they were supposed to be getting married, but I think it was probably close to now when they're allowed to again, and it's 15. And I think once they heard the plan to ease lockdown, and then eventually cancel, I think they said, right, no, we can wait another 6 months.
Right.
We can do that and have everyone just there. That's fine.
Hoping, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why they did that.
17th of May is when theatres and cinemas and things and museums open back up again. So that's it. May, possibly.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like this is the right thing to do now, is like have those 5-week increments.
5 weeks makes so much more sense. What was it before? Of course. It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then it wasn't, was it? Because it, like we were saying at the time, it went from like, oh, sports can start back up again. And like that was stage 5. We're in stage 1.
Yeah.
It made no sense at the end of last summer to be doing that.
So numbers have dropped significantly. It's like, yes.
Yeah, because people have stayed at home and now you're letting them back out
working.
Again.
Like, if you let people out, it's going to go up again.
Yeah.
Like,
just like duh. There's been a coronavirus case at Joe's school this week.
Oh, really?
Year 11 kids. So like loads of year 11s were sent home on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So it's still there.
Oh no, it definitely is. I mean, we've got a table full of home test kits.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Joe gets them because she has to take
awful
2 a week, or should be taking 2 a week. We have taken them this weekend, and we're both fine.
Yeah, we got to ask today actually. I don't go out and about.
No,
I was supposed to be today, so it would have made sense for me to do it.
Yeah.
But Liz goes to work in town, and Chloe goes to school. And I do go up to the shop sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
That's about as far. Yeah, me too.
I do stuff. So I am, and where I live, you'll go into a shop where masks must be worn, and the people that work there aren't wearing masks.
Yeah.
So actually, one of the shops, it was fucking disgusting. Like back in the height of it, sort of maybe December, January time. One of the shops, like a guy that worked there came out and just fucking spat like a massive, like it wasn't a pleasant spit, just like in open air, just spat it outside the shop, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Christ.
Like, what are you doing?
That's fucking disgusting, man.
It
like,
not only is
spitting
it's
at the best of
disgusting
times
anyway.
Yeah.
But during that, like this time, like didn't have a mask on, came wandering out of his shop and just, I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's made me feel a little bit ill.
Yeah, mate, you weren't there. But yeah, so I go up to those shops, and where I live, I mean, what can we call it? There's a lot of affordable housing where I am. To put it nicely.
Yeah.
So people are a bit lax on the old mask wearing and stuff like that. So I make sure I've got mine on, which seems that doesn't protect me; it protects those fuckers. So I don't understand why. So it makes sense for me to do the test because my family are going out and about.
Yeah.
And Liz's mum is in the vulnerable category. She's had her vaccines, but
She had both jabs.
yes, she's had both
right.
now.
Cool.
Wait, I'm sure she has. Yeah, she must have done by now. Because one of them's 5 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, and
one
another
of
one's
them's
6, isn't it?
Or up to 12, I think, or something
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure she's had her second one. Yeah.
Double check.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
still, even if she has, even if she hasn't, like it wouldn't change the fact that she's still in the vulnerable category. Yes, the vaccine reduces her chance of getting very ill with it, but it doesn't stop her getting it. So, yeah, we need to make sure we're safe. They're fucking awful, those tests.
Yeah,
I can't
no
do
fun.
them without heaving and sneezing all over the place.
Yeah. I know. Horrible. I don't want to be doing it much longer, that's for sure.
No. But I'll do it as long as I need to.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's not pleasant, but it's something you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like torture, is it?
No. I mean, no, because I'm in control and I can pull it out. But
Yeah,
if somebody else was in control and was like, no, I'd be like, nah, that's torture, mate. It's made me feel funny. But yeah, as soon as that cotton swab goes in my nostril, my eyes start streaming. I'm like, just like ready to sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, I mean, we're the same. I mean, what Joe has started to do is bring quite a few of them home, and we're kind of distributing them to family members and stuff, so that they've got them too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of them. Because, like with Chloe, she brings home 3 a week from school. On a Friday, she brings home the little box 3 a week. I went to the testing site and picked up 14 tests. Like there's a testing site down the road you go and pick up. Are they the lateral flow tests? I don't know. They're the ones.
I think so, because they're the ones that
the
come back in
asymptomatic tests, aren't they?
Yeah, the 30-minute jobs.
If you've got a cold, don't do it because it'll tell you you've got coronavirus.
Yeah.
You only take it if you don't have symptoms. Was what I was told. But yeah, I've done 2. I'm negative so far. But,
it's no fun.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre though, isn't it? Because thinking back again, because it's the anniversary of lockdown and stuff, if you kind of think back to the mindset then, and like you're saying, if we now told us then that travel between countries would be illegal and that we'd be having to administer our own tests.
Mate, if you told me this time last year, if you'd told me, like if me now went back, said, this time next year, travel to international countries is going to be illegal, I'd have been like, fucking Brexit. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought it was the fucking coronavirus still.
Yeah, no, I know. It's nuts, isn't it, that we've been living in this world for 12 months and it will still be another few months more. And even then, I don't think things are going to go back to the way they were before for a very long time, if ever.
There's that question floating about. It's like, will you still wear a mask after lockdown?
I definitely will. If I'm on public transport or something like that.
I think public transport, like going up to London, I probably would. Like going into shops and stuff, Probably not.
Although
Primark,
it depends on the shop.
If I have to go into Primark ever.
Or your shop's up the road, especially. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
I think like, because you always used to see, images of like people in Japan or whatever, like loads of people in their cities with these masks on, and I think you used to think like, well, why is that pollution then? Is it? But actually, no. And one of the interesting things that I found out recently about that was. It's about the culture. It's about the local staple foods. And obviously Japan and a lot of East Asian countries like that, their main staple food stuff is rice.
Yeah.
Whereas ours is potatoes, and anyone can grow potatoes. So you just grow them in your garden or, whatever. Yeah. But rice requires an entire paddy, which means that like the whole village has to help in the production of rice. And so their like an East Asian mentality is to look out for each other, because the whole economy is based on shared working, and that is why they've always had that culture of like, oh, I've got a cold, I will wear the mask so that people don't get infected, so we can still be productive. Whereas over here we kind of looked at it and we're like, well, what are they wearing those for?
Yeah. But I think because we've now been wearing them for a good year, I think it's acceptable. There will be that, as soon as the mandated wearing masks is no longer a thing, for a good, I reckon, like a month or two, people are starting like, why the fuck are you still wearing a mask? You don't need to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But once that dies out, where they see more and more people carrying on wearing masks, it'll be an acceptable thing to do.
Yeah. Plus, I think the kind of the fashion statement masks will be a thing, won't they?
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people were wearing, just the regular blue, NHS style ones.
Which I much prefer those.
They expand to go under the chin for a start,
They're much better that way, but they're more comfortable. Like they're lighter, so you don't get so much, like with the beards, you don't get the condensation and the wet beard, like which is your breath.
Well, it's the reason that I've got the one that I've got is because I was watching the Formula One, and they were the first sport to kind of get involved, and everyone was wearing the same type of mask. So I kind of looked it up. And it's this Italian company that makes them, and they're completely breathable. They're like a Speedo type.
Oh, okay. Like a Lycra type.
Yeah, and they've got a filter in there as well, which a lot of the masks at that very early point didn't have those filters.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if it's good enough for one of the most technologically advanced sports on the planet, then it's good enough for me. Yeah. It might have cost me. I think it cost like 40 quid or something.
Jeez,
but that's with that's with the filter as well.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it if it's good, because I also thought, well, I'm going to be going back out into the world, interviewing people, going to trade shows.
Yeah.
I want something that's robust and will see me through. And I've always been of a kind of mentality of like you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so for that kind of thing, I was like, fuck it, it's 40 quid. Like, I'm on furlough, I'm not spending any fucking money.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you saying that's just made me think actually. But being in the industry, you are actually allowed to go out and interview people face to face, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because it's part of my job.
Yeah,
I would like, even that thing down in Southampton. Like, I figured out like, well, it's for work. I would be allowed to travel.
Yeah, you've still got to obviously follow regulations, like 2 meter different like distance masks and stuff. But you can. I mean, you don't need to, which is why you haven't. But I've just thought you actually can. You're allowed to.
Technically, yes. But the fact that Zoom and Skype and Teams exist means that there really is no point to ever do it again.
No, not at all.
Why would I now? And I've been to a virtual event as well, which usually takes place in America.
Yeah.
Like, why would I ever get on a plane again?
Yeah, I mean,
and go to another country, you know.
My company usually puts on a like your old company did as well. My company puts on like a trade event for our products. Like we set up stalls, and like people from the health industry or any industry that we offer software for come, and that's usually what happens. But this year they did it online. They did there's a new event that they were planning on starting up this year that they did online this week. Yeah, they're doing it a lot more as well, like a virtual event. People just come in and out whenever they want. Yeah, but it's such a weird. It's so weird thinking about going out and about. And this conversation we were having about us meeting up on Tuesday. My sort of anxiety started to come back, and it's not around like the coronavirus stuff and things like that. Like I think I mentioned on air a lot that one of my symptoms of anxiety is my bowels, basically. Yeah. But now, because I know that's a thing, that also contributes to my anxiety. Because what if I go out and need the toilet? Like, and it's become that sort of thing now.
Vicious circle kind of thing.
Yeah. So that used to happen a lot. Like if we were going to theme parks, if the queue was over like 45 minutes, I'm like, no fucking way. Because I would get in there and think, I'm here, I'm stuck, I can't get out, and that starts happening. It's so weird. Like I don't know what the root cause of my anxiety is. And I mean, like, you know, in the early days of podcasting, when I was coming up to your place, like I would never be able to come to your place without having to use the toilet. Yeah. Like every single time I came, it would just happen. But like that stopped happening. Like I don't know when. But it just phased out, and then I started being able to go to theme parks. I started being, because it used to be a thing like, we're going to go here today. I'm like, right, cool, look it up online. How many toilets? Where are the toilets? Like it was that. Yeah. It sort of consumed my life, but it stopped becoming a thing. And now lockdown means that just the thought of going and meeting someone, like when I was meeting my colleague, like today I would be meeting my colleague. We were going to go to Tesco, grab a coffee, and then go and walk down the road. But in my head, that's fine, because if I need the toilet, Tesco's just up the road. I could just say I'm just going to go use and go back up to Tesco and use their toilet. And I think this whole thing about going to Cork is like, well, we're allowed in his garden, we're not allowed in his house, and we're going to be all the way over in Medway. What if I need the toilet? Like, there's nowhere I can and it's that in my head started. So that's why I thought I need to message you guys. Yeah, it's just so weird. It's just so weird. Like I don't know. So now I've got to fight that battle again of being able to go out.
It's about being in strange spaces again, isn't it? Yeah. Like it's going to be strange when we're allowed even back into like my parents' house. You know, it will be weird being in someone else's environment again. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's certainly like I've got a duality about it. Like, as much as like I'm not really a fan of thinking about going back into the general population and being around people, it's not like I haven't been into like the shops in the last year. You know,
this is what has boggled my mind about like being quite apprehensive about meeting you. Like, going meeting up with people again. Like, how is that going to? I go to the shops.
Yeah,
I've been to supermarkets.
I think it's because you compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I have to go to the shop because I have to buy food.
And everyone will be wearing a mask, and everyone will be socially distancing. Fuck, dude.
Except they aren't.
Except they don't. Yeah.
And you kind of, you do take that risk. You know, it's a weird one, isn't it? I am desperate to play gigs again.
Yeah.
But I know that there's no way that's going to happen. But equally, I don't even know what that would look like at the moment. Like, I can't see, obviously pubs aren't allowed to have people indoors until, May at the earliest. And even then it's going to be, social distancing. So most of the pubs that I play, you're not going to get more than 10 people in anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I'm desperate to get back climbing. No, my old job, that was excuse me, that wouldn't have been such an issue because I could go climbing during the day when there would only be like 4 or 5 people in the whole gym. But now with my new job, I go climbing.
You're at peak hours now, aren't you?
Peak hours now, yeah. So like it's going to be busy. Masks aren't required at that gym. You can wear them, but they're not required because they've got good ventilation and stuff like that. And, you know, people do socially distance. Like, quite responsible people go to these climbing gyms. But that's a hobby that I really enjoy doing. It's a good way for me to keep fit. It's where I socialise. I'm really comfortable there. It sort of activates the puzzle, sort of. Like, it's really good for me to go. But at the same time, like, it's going to be a bit weird that first few times going. But I just really, really want to go. Like, it's why I tend to... A lot of people tend to go, right, I finish work at 5:30, straight down there, home by 7, like to have dinner. That's why I tend to go down after my dinner.
Yeah.
Like 7 or 8, because it starts to get... So you first get there, it's busy, and then it starts to get quiet. By the time I've sort of done my warm-up and stuff, people are starting to leave. So it's getting progressively quieter. But then that means I'm there until like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm knackered the next morning.
Yeah.
But it's just how I manage to justify doing it, is I go down later as it starts to get quiet. I'll go down once or twice. Like, the thing is, it's like it reopens on Chloe's birthday. Happy birthday, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, like I put it on the climbing. Like they posted, opens April 12th. I was like, that's my daughter's birthday. I'm sure she'll understand. They're like, bring her with you. So I said, Chloe, do you want to go climbing on your birthday? She's like, no. Oh well,
I'm going.
Yeah.
Enjoy your birthday.
But no, I don't know if I will go down that day. It's going to be absolutely rammed.
Yeah, I get the impression that all those people who, again, like, haven't bothered getting exercise equipment for their house are absolutely climbing the walls to get back into a gym again,
so to speak.
Yeah. In your case, yeah.
Yeah, I've been climbing. Like I say, I've got that skipping rope, and that's a fucking great workout. It just really is. Yeah, I've got that. I've got an exercise mat for my floor work. I've got a pull-up bar for. I haven't been using my hangboard for my finger strength, so that's going to be my downfall.
Maybe over the next couple of weeks you need to start using that.
I think I do, yeah, just to get back up there. I need to get it back up on the door frame.
Because it's for me, it's practice spaces. Like band practice spaces. It's like none of them are really massive. Def over in the dockyard, their rooms are big. You can socially distance in there. And certainly a 3-piece could socially distance in most rooms, but like the main band that I'm in was a 5-piece, it's now a 4-piece. But there's always like one of the guitarists has got eye problems, so his other half brings him down, so there are 5 people in a room. So yeah, that's an issue. And I just man, it's so gutting. Like, last year was supposed to have been such a great year, hobby wise, but is what it is. Like, I still haven't had a chance to play live as the front person.
That's true. Because you did, when they eased the lockdown, was it the first lockdown? At the end of the first lockdown, you started practicing with them, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. And we filmed a load of songs that we were playing. Yeah. I did put them out on the lead up to like New Year. Just to kind of prove that we were still doing stuff, and in all honesty, that's what a lot of bands and stuff were doing, was like, right, okay, what we'll do then is we'll just post live videos of us practicing. Like, well, this is it. I mean,
in our rehearsal space.
Yeah. And I think, that might be the way that it's got to be still for a while. I mean, what we're talking about doing, you, me and Corky, I mean, it's probably one of those things where we have to set up our phone, record ourselves playing our parts or whatever, and then edit those together into a singular thing and actually like do the recording all remotely. And
I mean, we've all got the recording equipment now. Like you and me especially have both got the mics and stuff. Corky's got an electronic drum kit, so that shouldn't be a problem at all for him to record that. I mean, well, he does record it, but it's just separating his drums from the
video,
the audio track.
Sorry, audio.
Because he puts, because he's got electronic drum kit. Obviously, he needs to be able to hear the song, but he also has to hear his drum kit. So he sort of puts the audio through his drum module. But it's about doing it so you can separate the two. And I would say like one in each ear, but his left ear's no good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot.
He's only got one ear. Is it left or his right? Where did he used to stand when Finn was our drummer? He used to stand. It's his right ear. I think it's his right ear.
Yeah. He was always stage right.
Yeah,
as you're looking at the stage right, wasn't he?
Yeah. So and Finn used to just smash the shit out of that cymbal in his bad ear, which a bit uncalled for.
Slightly. I was thinking about him the other night.
What, Finn?
I was like, that was possibly a mistake.
Fucking brilliant drummer.
Yes.
Hey everybody, let's talk about Finn. Nobody knows him. That's fine. Yeah, we've had our changed our lineup quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, it was always drummers. Drummers were the key. Yeah. Kind of like if you got one. What did we get? It was Matt, Ollie, Finn.
Yeah. And then Corky was just like, "Fuck it, I'm doing drums now."
Yeah, because
you'd already brought yourself a bass and were just playing yourself, and Corky like, "Well, you be the bassist then." You're like, "Yeah, okay,
all right." It's like when Joe got me the electric drum kit recently for my birthday. I immediately put a message in the group being like, "Not only am I not the best bassist in this band, I'm also now not the best drummer."
Oh God. Yeah,
and I basically haven't used it more than about twice in the last month because I'm just too busy.
Yeah, but was it fun?
It is good
when
fun.
You did use it.
Yeah. It is good fun, and I'm itching to get back on it and kind of
for
learn
years.
some
I've been saying to Liz, "I want an electronic drum kit. I want electronic." She's like, "No," and then Joe's like, "Hey, I've got you an electronic drum kit." You're like, cool.
Yeah, and I never even asked for one. That's the worst thing. So it's like
But why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah. It's just like
that sounded like the beginning of something else.
Yeah, no, I was just going to mention it's sort of taking it down a peg, but it's trying to remember the name as well. The fuck is her name? The Top Gear lady. German lady.
Sabine Schmidt.
Sabine Schmidt. Yeah, we lost her. But last week.
Yeah, wasn't it cancer or something?
Yeah, it was weird. It was so weird how that would hit me like really hard for some reason. Yeah, and I don't know why. Like, all I really know her for is Top Gear and for taking a transit around the Nürburgring.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. But I don't know why. I think it was just reading about it and stuff. Like, I don't know why it hit me really hard. I was like, that's fucking shit. Like, it was sort of like a bit of an anger sort of thing. That's really shit. I don't know why that affected me so much, but yeah, it was. Yeah, and I watched the video of her when she took like Richard Hammond around Nürburgring transit. That was mad.
Yeah, truly insane.
But yeah, like as soon as I saw it, I like text my dad because I remember that's sort of one of the ones like. Maybe that's why it hit, because that was one of the moments that me and my dad watched that together and we both loved it. It was sort of like one of those bonding moments.
Yeah.
And I think Top Gear, me and my dad have always had that Top Gear thing. Like, we used to watch it together. So I think possibly that's partly to do with it.
Yeah, quite probably.
Because that's one of the clips, one of the segments that sort of, I don't know, we both just really enjoyed it. It was just so, yeah. But I don't know why. Like, I was just like really bummed out by that whole thing for like a good 2 hours. Like, just watching videos and shit, like. I don't know, but I didn't realise as well, like, because I watched. Did you see BMW put up that or reposted a clip of her?
No, I haven't. I haven't engaged in social media or the news in ages. I watched the news for the first time in what must be weeks.
Yeah,
the other month, and it was all about the migrants and Priti Patel saying that people should be coming in through legal channels, and you're just like, fuck off, you entitled cunt.
And it's like, yes,
it made me so fucking angry
Yeah.
that I then didn't sleep properly that night. And I'm like, right, I'm never watching the fucking news again. Fuck it. Like,
and you're watching it and you're like, yes, in an ideal world, they should. But
there's a
it's
reason
not always
why,
a choice.
Yeah, there's a reason why judges, one of the people who came across that she was talking about was a judge in like whatever country he came from.
Yeah.
Like, this is someone with a PhD.
Yeah.
This isn't someone who's like, got nothing. Like, these people that are coming across are rich. They've spent their entire fucking life savings to get over here.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking penny. Like, they're desperate to get here because it's so shit where they're from.
Yeah.
Like, they're being persecuted, or like there's war. Like,
yeah. It's like,
imagine how desperate you've got to be to spend your entire life savings to get in a fucking dinghy with 30 other people, some of them with babies that are like 1 day old in some cases, like, to like travel across the effectively the North Sea, like the Channel, in busy shipping lanes. Like, it's not a choice you make because, oh, I want the dole.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Sorry.
Yes. No. It's I agree with you. Like, that's sort of like where I was going as well. It's like, hey, Priti Patel, let me paint a picture for you. Your life is so shit and you're suffering so much that you're willing to put yourself and your family, you're willing to put all of your lives at risk at the chance of potentially not being murdered, like not being blown to pieces, not being raped. Like, you're willing to do that to your whole family just at the chance that won't happen. And to come over here, of all places,
exactly. The most racist country in the Western Hemisphere right now,
and you're willing to just take that like slither of a chance at a better life. Like, shit has got that bad that you're willing to do that. Like, it's not, it's shit. And like, they're like, yeah, but they pass through all of these countries. It's like, yeah, because we actually have a system that would allow you to maybe stay and have a better life. Like, those countries that they pass through would just send them straight back.
Yeah.
They don't have that system. And in actual fact, a majority of those countries have a higher percentage of like migrants or refugees than we do. Like, France and Germany take way more refugees.
I mean,
than
Angela
we do.
Merkel was absolutely crucified for opening the borders a couple of years ago to Syrians, wasn't she? She was absolutely demonized for it. When Hungary basically shut its borders down and forced all these people through to Germany. And Merkel was like, yeah, come on in, fuck it.
Yeah, we need to help people.
Yeah.
That's a good way to pluck hairs out of your tash, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell, I saw that. Yeah.
Sorry, I just canned a drink. I need to get that ring pull off because that fucking hurt. Yeah. Anyway, Angela Merkel.
But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Another country run by a woman is in some way open to help.
Oh, shit, you're frozen. Sorry. Helping people, yes. Sorry, you froze us for a second. Yeah. On my side, which means I probably froze on your side, but you were talking. And annoyingly, we're recording on my side.
We'll see how that turns out.
It'll be fine. It happens now. Because didn't New Zealand... Was it New Zealand? What did she do? She did something like yesterday or the day before.
I don't know.
It's so annoying. Because they have a female prime minister, don't they?
Yeah. Ardern. I can't remember. Jacinda Ardern.
What did they do? Sorry, I'm trying to find it because she did something.
Because New Zealand, they locked down properly straight away. Like, I know recently they were really worried because they had 4 cases of coronavirus in their entire country. Like, that was a spike recently. And then her and her government took a pay cut as well.
Yeah.
Whereas our lot are trying to give themselves a bonus at the moment, and I think it's a fucking travesty.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about that, though, is with New Zealand, it's like,
it's a different country, though.
No, obviously, yeah, it's a different country. Like they do stuff differently, but also there's not many people there. So you know, like there's a good chance that she sort of lives down the street from everyone that she's making these decisions for.
Yeah,
you know, like everyone knows everyone there. I mean, that's what people think about the UK as well, like Americans
true.
anyway. Yeah, it's a very simple way of looking at things. But yeah, I can't find the story. But she did something like revolutionary, like that nobody else is doing, or like it was. I don't know. Look it up. It's interesting. Oh God. Yeah. Why did I bring? Oh, because I was talking about Sabine, wasn't I?
Yes. Sorry, I kind of derailed.
No. I can't remember why. Then we got on to politics for some reason.
That was just me. I think I kind of took it.
No, I was the one that changed the subject and said about that, and then which upset you.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what it was. It's fine.
Yeah,
someone will remind us in the comments.
Yeah, we'll listen back to it and hear it.
Maybe
later on, perhaps. Maybe not. Yeah, no, it's a funny old time at the moment still. But yeah, like I don't know.
We're now in a period where, like, from tomorrow, like, you know, 5 weeks ago or a few weeks ago, kids went back to school. That was sort of like the big change then. But tomorrow, stuff starts to sort of expand and open up, and then obviously like April it sort of opens a bit, and we're sort of in that uneasy place now, aren't we?
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like, what's it going to be like?
And I think as well, people like you and me who have properly stayed at home and not really gone many places except the shops and the occasional doorstep visit to a relative.
Yeah.
This is where it gets tough for us.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be people that have been flouting the rules who can now openly flout the rule. Like, it's not the rules anymore, so they can go out and live their lives as they've wanted to all this time and probably have been doing.
Yes. But they can now post about it on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like we were talking about, I think we kind of touched on it earlier on, like with your anxiety. I think there is going to be that anxiety now for people like us who have not had close contact with lots of people, to suddenly see, you know, groups of people out and about is going to be a weird thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, last summer when people were going out and we weren't supposed to be in groups of more than 6, but you pass like a park or something, and there was like a massive family gathering or something there, like loads of and, like, you know, not to stereotype, but lots of kids hanging about together, and it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And I think it might do the same again this time. But equally, I've got to force myself to get out there as well, because otherwise I'm literally going to become a recluse.
Yeah, like this is one thing I was glad of when Chloe was still at home doing school from home over Zoom and stuff. Liz was making us as a family go out like 2 evenings a week, go for a walk, like just for an hour. Now Chloe's gone back to school, that sort of relaxed a bit because she's getting her exercise at school. So I'm not going out for walks and stuff anymore.
Right.
Which I need to do. I think that's probably where some of this anxiety stemmed from, is that I've not been going out anymore at all. I've not even gone out the shop since Chloe's gone back to school, I don't think.
Right.
Whereas I have been. Yeah, I fucking haven't really left the house. Shoot.
And this is
the last time I left the house, we went... we just dropped my mum's birthday present off, and it's been going to like mother-in-law's for dinner. Yeah, which we're supposed to be doing today, but car. Yeah. So probably not. Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like I've not been I do need to make myself go out. Yesterday I thought, I'll go for a walk, and I never did. I even considered maybe going for a little jog or something.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I'm not
this
even
is
doing
it. At
that.
least I've still been
Yeah.
going two-ish times a week
Yeah.
on jogs and
That's like
stuff.
me.
So,
I've been exercising 2-ish times a week as well.
sometimes fewer, sometimes more.
Sometimes
But
3.
yeah, yeah,
No, I've only had 2 weeks where I've only done 1 or 2. To be fair, I've been pretty consistent with it, and mainly because Liz is like, "Oh, you're exercising tonight, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But this is the thing, like Liz, and I suppose Joe obviously has been going to like teach. I imagine she's back in the school.
Yeah,
Did she
yeah.
ever stop going? Into
yeah.
school?
There was a point between kind of September or October and
Yeah.
February, was it when they
Oh,
went back?
okay. Was she doing Zoom lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we so like Joe's been doing that. Liz has been going into the office twice a week, and like she's still been going for like on the weekend. She's still been going for a walk, like meeting up with my sister and going for a walk, or meeting up with one of her other friends. Like yesterday she went to meet up with her friend for a walk. They went for a walk. And then Liz got in the car and engine malfunctioned. So I phoned the RAC. They came out, got it working again. So she then drove up to Asda up your way, because that's the one that's open, to get a few bits. Came out of the car park, round the corner onto the Maidstone Road.
Yeah.
Stopped on the Maidstone Road.
Oh, shit.
Before the bridge, and then down to the motorway. Like,
yeah.
she was like at that part. It just stopped. So she was there. And the guy just towed her this time, brought her home. But yeah, so yeah, exercise ain't good for you. Gets you stranded. Yeah, so like she's been meeting up with people twice a week to go out for walks at the weekend, socially distanced, of course. And she's been going into the office, so she's sort of still out in the world. And at the start of like the whole thing, like the first lockdown, like Liz and I would go shopping together.
Yeah.
But obviously, since it was now only one person can go shopping,
yeah,
she's been going on her own. So I've not been doing that with her. Like my days now consist of Saturday, especially consists of going to meet Liz at the car park, helping her with the shopping back to the house. That's it. That's me going out now.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah, I mean we've been all right at kind of I've almost tried to make myself go out every day. If I don't go out for a day, and even if it's just a walk for an hour or 30 minutes or something, then I start to get a bit like
you're
feverish.
You've always enjoyed going out and doing things, though, haven't you?
Yeah,
like you used to go on bike rides and things like that. Whereas
true, yeah.
I've always loved just sitting indoors. Like, I don't watch telly. I don't watch TV. I'll either be on YouTube or I'll be reading. Like, I'm getting a head start on my study. I read, like, it never happens with me, but I read, like, this week I finished a book. I started the next book on Thursday and I finished it last night. Like, I don't read, like, I read a book in 3 days. I don't do that. It was about 310 pages, I think. So... it's your standard size like novel, and I read it in 3 days. I don't do that. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, I've been through more books this year than I've been through in I don't know, the last couple of years combined, probably. And it's only the end of March. It's been 3 months. I know what you mean. But yeah, I think getting into that habit of, even if it's just a wander around the block, I think it just, like, you need to blow the cobwebs away a little bit, because it does set in quite easily, lethargy.
Yeah.
And, I think it's kind of important. It's just been one of those things that, like, I don't know, like at the very beginning of lockdown, I was like, this is a holiday. I'm going to fucking drink every day. Like, it was I was on because the weather was fantastic as well.
Oh, the first lockdown, it was beautiful. Yeah, we barbecue, even if it was just us barbecue. Like, had a garden done.
Yeah.
Lockdown ended, we were allowed people in our garden, come for a barbecue, come on. Like,
Yeah.
my mum and her partner, or my dad and my sister, like, come on. Yeah.
And then I noticed
It's amazing.
myself feeling sluggish and heavy, and like, because I just consumed alcohol and not done anything else.
Yeah.
And eating shit, and just like not burning any of it off. And that kind of spurred me on. And then I've had little moments where if I'm not doing something outside of the house during the day, because also I think the commute used to be like me getting out of the house. Work wasn't in the house. Now I'm just in the fucking house, and it's doing my head in. So I do, like, every day I do need to get out of these four walls and reset a little bit.
Yeah, I think, definitely important for you. I think with me it's probably different because I know eventually I am going to be going out of the house to work.
Yeah.
Like, so I've got that, I suppose. Eventually I will be getting out of the house to work. Whereas you are like, this is my life. Which is
but
great.
I think as well, when the better weather comes along, I'll be going down into the pod
to do your work,
down there, and that will be my commute.
That's your office. Yeah.
It's just that this winter has been so cold and so wet that I just haven't wanted to be down there at all. Like, it hasn't been enough, because Joe's like, well, why don't you just go down there? I'm like, because I'd have to wear gloves.
Yeah. And typing in gloves isn't easy.
Yeah.
I think that was actually an interesting thing I read, like when they were doing Zoom lessons at home, was like for kids to get their exercise and to maybe get their brains in gear, it's wake them up at the time they would normally get up to for school and then go walk around the block with them. Yeah. And that's like their commute to school.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to someone, it was a psychologist on a podcast called Insane in the Men Brain.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a really, really good podcast.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, like, one of the more effective things that you can do, working from home is, get up at the normal time that you would go on your commute, walk around the block, come back into your house, and that's your commute. Yeah. So your mind is in that, like exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, it's woken up. Like, the exercise is, I don't know, I can't exercise in the morning anymore, but I used to absolutely love it. Because I used to get up in the mornings, like on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, like before podcasting. And I know one Sunday, when I was training for my second marathon, I think I got up, I did like a 10, 12 mile run, came home, had a shower, and then recorded a podcast. But I did that once. But I used to get up and go running in the morning, and then the rest of the day I was just like super focused. Yeah. Like, but I can't do it anymore.
I try to do my running in the morning now. Yeah. Like, if I've got a day where I don't have interviews or anything to do in the mornings,
and you can start at whatever time.
Then I will go out in the morning and do a run, even if it's like 5k. Like, just go out for 20 minutes. And it kind of it really does wake you up. You feel a lot more alert and a lot more ready for the day, But the problem with that is I sometimes go out for a run and I'm like, I'm feeling really fucking good. I'm just going to carry on. Yeah. Then I'll have done like 13k or something. Yeah. And then I'm knackered by the time I get back in, and it's like, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, there's only really a few more hours left of the day. Yeah. But that again, that's part and parcel of the freelance working as well, is like, some days you got to do that. Yeah. And it's okay because you can make that time up.
Yeah, you can make that time up. That's interesting because that you said that, because that just reminded me that, like, the book I've just finished, it's called The Speed of Light. It's about like a woman who's diagnosed with like MS, and it's like the first year basically. But there's a whole thing where she's sort of like signs up for a 5k run, and it's really weird because, like, people mention that runner's high, which I never thought I'd experienced. I've never had the runner's high. But the way they describe it in the book, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I've definitely had that then, is it's that point where, the point in your run where you feel relaxed and comfortable and like you could just keep running forever. Yeah. Like, and I've definitely had that. And that's what you're saying. It's like when you go out and you feel good and you go, right, I'm going to fuck it, I'm going to keep running. That's the runner's high. It's where you hit, it's your zone, basically, isn't it?
You've hit that magical spot where, like, the pace is fine, your breathing's fine.
Yeah. And your muscles are okay. Yeah. Like, you just go on forever.
Yeah.
I love, that's that feeling. That's the feeling that I used to love. It's where, like, because obviously I used to do, like, longer distances where you're sort of like at mile 7 or 8 and you're just like, yep, let's just keep doing it. I mean, you're saying you've done 13k, like 10k is 6 miles.
Yeah, no, I know.
You've done 7 miles. Like, you must have done 7 miles if you've hit 13k.
Yeah,
but yeah, like, I suppose the difference is you said you were knackered by the time you got home after 13k. Where I was like, I hit that zone at 6 miles, and I'm like, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's not me.
But no, I've done it. Like, I think from when I was here and I ran out to Leeds Castle and I was on the A20 on the way back into Maidstone. Not quite, probably up by the hotel. Which is the hotel up there?
The Great Danes.
The Marriott, isn't it?
Marriott, yeah.
Yeah. So I was probably up there and I was just running. And it's really weird because I used to listen to podcasts and audiobooks and stuff. And I can't remember what podcast it was. But I was out at that point. And it's just one of those things, like, it's always stuck in my mind. It's like I was at that point, feeling really good, and I remember what they were talking about on the podcast I was listening to.
Right,
still.
Yeah.
They were talking about that lad what did he make? Like that radioactive stuff by getting the glow-in-the-dark materials off of watches and stuff, and he built like a weapon or something by just collecting the glow-in-the-dark paint from watches and stuff, because that's radioactive.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking about that at that point in the podcast I was listening to. It just sticks in my mind. It was a lovely day. I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
I was engaged in the podcast I was listening to, and fuck me, I'm all the way out on the A20. What the fuck am I doing out here?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I find podcasts a bit easier to listen to than music, actually, on a run. Mainly because there's not necessarily an end point to a podcast. Like, a podcast will go on.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, sometimes if you're listening to music and, like, the tempo changes above what you're doing, you either increase your pace to keep up with the tempo and knacker yourself, or you're like, oh, I'm just going to go and I'll probably, like, when this song finishes, maybe I'll stop.
Yeah.
Whereas with a podcast, like, it can go on for 2 hours, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've told you before, haven't I? Like, when I used to listen to podcasts, especially with in-ears. Like, when you go running, do you have in-ears or do you have over the head?
Yeah, in-ears, yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And I find with these, I don't know if you notice, I keep pulling these off my ear.
Yeah.
Because these are, like, enclosed.
Yeah.
Like, I get a pressure build up in my ears. And I get that with when I'm running, and if I'm tired and I've got in-ears, and then the music's just like, boof, boof, boof. Like, it's, I don't know, it has this visceral reaction. My body, I start to feel sick, like I need to heave. Like, I get really heavy. It's weird.
Yeah.
How your body reacts.
It'll be an in-ear
like
thing, won't it? Like, the inner ear is a funny old, like...
So that's why I find podcasts better, because there's not that constant. It's just people talking. It also gives you something to focus on other than how you feel, whereas music is definitely like a background thing.
Yeah.
And if you've got it too loud, it's too much.
Yeah.
You feel sort of claustrophobic.
It forces you to think internally, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like if you've got it too loud, it's claustrophobic. If you've got it too quiet, then it's annoying.
Yeah.
And like, you've got nothing to focus on. It's just in the background. Whereas podcasts, it's like people talking. I can focus on that and just keep going. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, the best times is just when you're not listening to anything. You've just got your headphones wrapped around there, especially if you're on a really long one.
Yeah, I did start off doing that. I started off when I was running, I wasn't listening to anything. But I found that the further away I got, the more I kind of needed something to distract me from how I felt. Because I don't really like doing exercise still.
No.
Like, it's a necessity, and I'm glad that I do it, but I don't enjoy doing it. So I needed something to help me go longer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with my running as well is I can't, like, I imagine you're just going out for, I'm going to do a 5K, and you do a 5K and come back, whereas I need like a training plan.
Right. When
I do it, so I'll have it on my watch and I can look, right, cool, another 5 minutes. So, like, when I haven't got anything in my ears, I'm concentrating on the training plan. Like, I can't, like, if I want to go out running today, I'm not just going to go out and run. I'm going to have to find like a training plan, like a pace thing, and
Okay.
like I wouldn't be able to just go out and do 5k.
Right, yeah. See, that's not me. I've
have
got
that point.
My motivation is like do it, get it done, and get back home.
Yeah. Whereas I have targets. Like I almost have like a goal. Like I know when I was running before, and if I start again, I'd want to get my 5k pace like under half an hour. Like I struggled to get it under half an hour after like the marathons and the injuries. Because I was used to running at a slower pace for longer.
Yes. Yeah,
so it's hard to run fast for me because I'm like I was distance running. So yeah, I need a goal, and that would be my goal is to get under half an hour. Consistently, not just once. Because I did it once. That's not enough. Yeah.
See, my
because
thing
the
is
weather's
just
getting
going
nicer.
faster.
I want to start running again. Like it's
fair
weather runner.
Fair weather, yeah. Well, I don't go out in the fucking rain unless I go out and it starts raining.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm fucking in it now. Like,
I love running in the rain.
Yeah, it's not so bad actually. I didn't go out in the snow because I'm not an idiot.
No.
Yeah.
I've done that once. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Oh well.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing is maybe from what we've been talking about today. I think the kind of wrap up is we need to go out.
Yes.
And reintegrate slightly. It would have been great to have gone out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And with you and Corky.
I still might be able to. It depends on the car today if I can figure out what's wrong with it.
I just, if nothing can get done today, then
I think it'll be cutting it a bit close though. If I go out in the car, I'm not going to get anyone to look at it before Monday anyway.
No, exactly.
If they need to order parts, it's.
I think possibly Tuesday will be a Zoom.
Yeah.
And then we'll try and organise something for when your car's better.
Yes, my car's better.
But I'd love to do it. But yeah, I think it's just kind of once you've done a couple of things like that, like I'm thinking about going to see Ian and Wendy, the drummer from God Stomp, but I'm thinking about going to see them because their garden's quite big. They've got a bar in their garden as well, the same as here, really. So we're thinking of organising one of those again, just so that it's starting to normalise those. Not too many in a go. Yeah, but like once every couple of weeks, maybe.
I think that's it, and I think by the time we can actually meet up again, I probably would have. I'm gonna have to force myself to get out and about. I'm gonna have to set goals to do something every week.
But then you can applying that goal setting for the run to like regular other things in life. I think that's a good idea to kind of say, right, I'm going to meet up with like one person this week, and then the next week maybe I'll meet up with 2 individual people, or like the same person again, and then just slowly increase the frequency. And
do you know what I think? Like, because I know, like you, obviously, I was really sort of like appreciative of the fact you said like, "Oh, I'll wear a mask if you need me."
Yeah, of course.
But it and like I said, I don't think it's that. And like you're saying, meet up with one person, then 2 people. I don't think it's the coronavirus thing. It's my other anxiety.
It's the other stuff.
It's the thought that we were going to go to Corky's, which is unfamiliar. I've never been there. I don't know where he is. I don't know what's around. Like, and it's not that I'm scared anything will happen. It's just I don't know that place. Like, it's unfamiliar to me. I don't know it. Like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know what. I want to know where this comes from, and I think it's just the fact that it's the not having control. Because it's not my house, it's somebody else's house. If I do get desperate for the toilet, is he going to let me? Of course he is.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? But it's that. But I don't want to have to ask. Like, I don't want to put people out, and it's all that having no control sort of a situation. It's weird. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear how, like, from some of our listeners, like how they are feeling about this easing. Like, if they have any anxieties about it at all. Or are they going to wear masks?
Because problems being shared are problems being halved, aren't they? And the more that you hear about these kinds of things, you're like, oh, well,
normalises how you feel,
exactly,
And in a weird way, it stops me feel like, it's that weird thing. When I worked in the factory, I used to suffer with anxiety really badly. Once I'd actually been open about it and told everyone, I stopped having the symptoms.
Exactly,
because I knew everyone was understanding of it. It's
getting
so
it out
weird.
there, and that's why I said about the mask thing. I'm like, I know that you probably wouldn't like necessarily expect me to do that, but I'm going to offer it because that's
what
a way for me to be like, no, it's cool, man. Like, we can wear masks. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, and it just solidified for me, like, and it did as soon as I'd sent the message as well and got the first message back. It's like, I can relax with it because it's out of the way now. Like, people understand.
Yeah. Exactly,
and like we said,
Corky,
like,
who was going to be like the guy that least likely to kind of be on board with being a cool person about something like that. He's a totally different person these days.
Yeah, I think it's a very different feel in that chat, isn't it, to when we used to have practices.
Definitely,
I love it.
Man.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so the big thing that if people who are listening to this, if you stuck around to this point, let us know how you're dealing with it. How are you feeling about reintegrating into society?
Yeah.
What kind of methods are you going to put in place about getting back out there? Share some best practices with us.
Yeah, please. I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool, man. I like these episodes where there's no real agenda sometimes and we just talk through some problems. I think it's important. I mean, this podcast has evolved in the last couple of years to be a much more mental health focused podcast. Anyway,
it really has, hasn't it?
Yeah. But I like that. It's one of the things that I enjoy. Like I know that we both have various anxieties and hang-ups that sometimes we need to talk through. And this is not going to be just affecting us. This is going to be affecting other people. Yeah. And it would be interesting,
especially the episode with Ben as well. Man, that was
that's what I wanted to get to. Yeah, was like, because it's like anything, like with I was listening to it was Life in the Stocks. Matt Stocks, this DJ guy, goes and like talks to various rock people, and he did one with John Lydon.
Oh yeah,
and like that guy must be one of the most difficult people because he's always got that character. Yeah. But with every long form conversation, you get to like the 40-minute point,
and you drop out character.
Yeah, you can't stay that one person. You can't be on that one thing. It was like the thing with Ben and Smokey as well. Like you get to that point where all the fun stuff has been covered, and then you're like, well, the real reason I did it was this.
Yeah, the heavy shit comes out.
Yeah, and that's what I love about these long form conversations. That's what I love about podcasts. Yeah, and and
eventually you get Stephen Fry to admit that he attempted suicide once.
Exactly.
Yeah. Richard Herring, for anyone that's wondering, became national news.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's of course, yeah. I hope we never have to have that conversation with one of our friends where they tell us that. But
no. But I think this is the right platform to have these kind of deep conversations about things, And again, hopefully people will get in touch with us about what they're feeling and what they're going to do in the next few weeks and months to kind of make themselves feel more comfortable about getting back out there again and what their kind of plans and stuff are. So, it'd be lovely to hear from people. Yeah, it definitely would. Yeah.
It's a safe place. We're not going to sort of try and hammer into you how to look after yourself because that's not what we're here for.
No, exactly. Because we don't know.
Just get it off your chest. It helps. We ain't got a fucking clue. Anyway.
But so for this week, this episode of Anywhere But Here, I've been Tom.
And I've been Ant.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.